Hi everyone, thanks for watching Access Hockey MI. Today we're going to be covering 3 forwards that are going to be at the NHL Prospects Tournament in Traverse City in the coming weeks. And that tournament is comprised of Detroit and a few other teams. You can look them up.
We care about Detroit.
Where they all basically have a tournament, team on team, and then someone wins this cup.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's great because you get to see the prospects from those other teams and the Red Wings vying for spots for the Griffins, vying for spots for the Red Wings themselves.
It's excellent for
vying for spots for the training camp. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get to see everybody's best foot forward. Mm-hmm. And they're always the young guys, the guys who are not yet playing with the Griffins. Sometimes they, had short seasons. It really varies. But on the roster for the Red Wings are 24 guys, 14 of which are actual draft picks the Red Wings have had in the past season. So that's pretty encouraging because I think that's got to be one of the highest numbers that we've seen so far at the tournament. So I can stop slobbering over this intro. We're going to talk about 3 of the drafted guys that are going to be on the roster that we're excited to see, and let's get into it.
Yes.
Did I miss anything?
No, I think that was
comment,
great.
Subscribe.
Oh, you missed that. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible accountability partner.
That's okay. You're a better sister.
Shucks. Thumbs up if you think I'm a great sister. If we don't have 10,000 likes, I'm going to be sorely disappointed.
I quit.
So we're only talking about forwards, like Janae said, the first of which is Hanas. This is one that he's been mentioned a lot, and I've seen in social media a ton lately. He's had an incredible, I think, developmental time with the Portland Winterhawks, which is where he was as an alternate captain last season. He was drafted in 2020, a second-rounder, 55th overall. He had 86 points in 63 games last season, so obviously very impressive.
Yeah.
And he's committed to Grand Rapids. He was signed to an ELC earlier this summer, so he is committed. He will be in Grand Rapids this season. But we saw him, was it 2020 that we saw? Yeah, it was 2020 we saw him. A little bit of an odd tournament that was, but it was really cool to see. He came out with a lot of fire, I think, and a lot of passion, and he played with a lot of grit, which was really nice to see. So he was very exciting just on the physical side of things to watch him last season.
Yeah, it was. And he was someone who I always could see on the ice. I'd always notice him on the ice, and that's important. Not because I know everything, but more because that just means he's a chippy player. Mm-hmm. He's very tenacious. He gets after the puck. He's very opportunistic. Those are always words I use for the players I like, so you know that I like this guy.
They're the buzzwords.
Yeah, they are. He is on the smaller end, and I would say he's over 6 foot. He's around 176. So I feel like he'll probably need to beef up a tiny bit, but he still plays very well. And something that I like to see is after the guys are drafted, they don't miss a beat wherever they go in the next season.
Right. Sometimes
you can see they kind of not fall off, but it's nice to see that he was honing in his skill in the last season with the Winterhawks that he had. And I think that I don't know that he's going to be an ebb and flow kind of player. I feel like he's a very consistent, very high skill player, and that's going to be really exciting to see the Griffins to have, and I think that we need something like that.
We need consistency so bad.
And I keep hearing that we're going to have a high-skill Grand Rapids team, and that's going to be exciting to see.
I'm going to just start buying jerseys now with everyone's names on it.
So. Everyone's names?
Everyone's.
Just like
it's going to be one jersey, and then all their names are going to be on the back of it.
Yes.
I'm going to have Dog do it.
It'll be great.
I'll pay him a couple bucks.
Go for it.
Oh, yeah, the second guy is one that we have talked about several times, but it bears repeating. Kirill Tyutyayev. It's going to be a really big season for him. Again, like some other players, maybe even a make it or break it kind of season. He was drafted in 2019, so one of the older draft picks. Very late round. He was 190th overall, kind of like those diamonds in the rough players. Yeah. He was with Grand Rapids last season under the circumstances of how it went. I think he probably got an earlier jump on the pro thing over here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Before he probably
would
have.
I would say he probably would have been probably in Europe.
Yeah, this probably would have been just all conjecture.
Probably.
But he had 9 games with Grand Rapids, and in those 9 games, he had 3 points before sustaining an injury that took him out the entire season. So we're really hopeful that he's rehabbed, he's recovered, he's gotten his strength back, and this is going to be the first test, really, of him playing in a scrimmage style in a full-on game to see how he bears up.
He did really well in the tournament that he was in, the Prospects Tournament, and then in the 9 games that he played, he did really well also. So he had a lot of promise early on, and he was able to show some of his stuff, but then, of course, getting injured kind of derailed everything. So this is going to be, I feel like all of that's kind of wiped away, and now it's going to be this
clean
fresh
slate
start, which can kind of be great, but also at the same time maybe a little nerve-wracking. Like, you kind of feel like the new kid all over again.
Yeah.
Because you really don't have all that behind you. Like, some of these kids have a full season of hockey. Actually all of them, probably have a full season. Probably.
Yeah,
They probably.
That's going to be the title. This is probably a video about prospects.
They probably all have a full season of hockey behind him, whereas he was rehabbing, and I'm not even sure like when he started, getting rehabbing from that shoulder injury.
And building back the consistency and the aerobic capacity for a full-on game.
Well, and you have to get the confidence again because you're going to be hit again. You're going to have to get over like any fear of being hit and being injured again. So, and we saw that with Jared McIsaac quite a few times because he injured the same shoulder and then the other shoulder frequently.
And I know that mentally that was the biggest challenge for him to overcome.
It's a big deal. Yeah, and I don't think Tyutyayev struggled with injury before this one. So seeing him this season,
AHL is a different animal.
It's going to be really exciting to see kind of how he's improved and maybe even see fully what he is capable of.
Right.
The last one is probably the most talked about draft pick that we have, at least coming up, and I think it's probably because of his size.
A bit of a monster.
Elmer Soderblom is someone that we've been excited to see. We saw him at one Prospects Tournament where he did very well. He, of course, towered above everybody in size, and that has not changed.
You could say he's a head above the rest.
He's like 2 heads above the rest. He was drafted in 2019 as well, so same year as Tyutyayev, and he was 150th overall, 59th. I corrected
Not 150th.
159 overall. And he was playing with Frolunda HC last season, and he had I feel like in Europe you kind of go between teams.
Yep.
Quite a few times.
Oh, yes.
But in 52 games played, he had 33 points, and he's gotten way better at his skating. He can handle his body size, which is great if you have that huge body. How
do you check someone, though, if, like, their head is in your armpit? How do you do that?
You don't go for their head, maybe?
You just go with your butt.
You go into their...
You have to duck down.
You know a hit's coming, basically.
It's like when Vladdy would have people
We'll have to see how he throws a hit. But he does.
Or throws people.
Yeah, he does hit, and that's great, too, because we love people that hit. That's awesome. Yep. And he is committed to Grand Rapids, so I'm excited to see him not only in this tournament, but in Grand Rapids, too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, for him specifically, and a lot of it is going to piggyback off of his size. That is going to be, that one is a big selling feature for him, but it could be his biggest curse,
it's
too.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, going into this season with it in the AHL, the Frolunda HC is the top tier team. He was playing with grown, established, professional guys, and so the fact that he tallied 33 points, most of which were goals, is a really good sign.
Yeah.
But it is faster here, and I think that might be something. I think he's gonna be a quick learner. I don't think he'll have a problem with that.
He'll have to be.
But learning the agility and moving a body that size, it's not just something you get out there in 2 games, you're totally fine.
Yeah.
It's like you have to train your body to do that, and I think the staff in Grand Rapids will have their work cut out for them.
I would say agility is a big deal.
Huge.
For all the players, but for bigger ones in specific, to be able to maneuver yourself as a bigger guy is very important, because you might not have all the speed and you might not ever be able to have all the speed, but if you're more agile than your counterpart, then that's going to be a head above the rest too.
I am excited to see someone try hit him, though. That's going to make me happy to see what that pairing looks like.
I just wonder if it's going to be like oh no.
Dang it.
Not this guy.
But he's going to be an exciting one, not just because of his size, but because I think he has the skill to back it up.
But
he's grown a lot.
Yeah, he's the bigger one we've had in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 250, but I imagine it's hard to move when you are.
Yeah, on skates, on blades.
We're excited to see the starting lineup.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
But he's definitely somebody that we've been excited to see, and I think that him developing first in Sweden is going to be a benefit for him. And getting that confidence, something that I think is lost on the guys that start right away, maybe with Grand Rapids, or, they jump right up to the Red Wings sometimes. Well, it wasn't lost on Raymond or Sider, but as far as Soderblom goes, I think that he was able to get the confidence of playing in his homeland, in his own established set, basically, to where he could get that confidence and he could, hey, I've got this. I'm a bigger guy, but you know what? I've always been one, so I know how to make it work.
And I think a lot of times something that is missed in development, at least in the general public, or it might not be thought of all the time, is the mental development part of it.
Yeah.
And that's where the confidence comes in. Some players, it might not be a benefit for them to get thrown right into it. Mentally, that might break them. And so you have to gradually get them there.
Yeah.
Whereas other players, they thrive on that kind of pressure.
That
so it's just
challenge,
really, and that's where the team, I think Grand Rapids and Detroit does a great job of understanding that about each of their players and what is expected and what they can handle, how hard they can really push them.
And I think one thing about all three of these guys, just to summarize them, would be that I believe them all to be very confident, very capable, and adaptable players. And I think that that's those are all very good qualities going into a season. And this is going to be a great season, a season that's back to normal, first of all. A season that gives them a chance to really show what they've been working on and to show that they deserve a spot to get up to the Red Wings. I think that's going to be exciting.
And these, of course, this is not a final list. These are only 3 guys. There's so many others that we could gush about, but definitely keep an eye on the roster, keep an eye on the website, our website, accesshockeymi.com, and as well as Traverse City at the Center Ice Arena. They are going to be having tickets available, and the Detroit Red Wings are streaming everything as well. So you can watch these guys if you can't make it to Michigan. Yeah,
and it's definitely worth a watch just to study up on who's going to be on the team, so you're not surprised when opening day comes and you're like, who are these guys? Wow, he's really good.
Everyone knows who Ivan is. Let's learn about all the other ones.
Or Soderblom. But look at the other guys. Make sure you're studying up. And let us know in the comments who you're excited to see and who maybe we didn't talk about that you may be keeping your eye on. And next week we're going to talk about the defensemen we're excited to see, as well as probably covering the goalies just very briefly. I don't think that I'm accustomed with the goalies that we're having. So that's actually fun because then it's like, oh, these new guys.
Surprise!
It's the Prospects Tournament is by far my favorite event of the season. It's even better to me than training camp because these are the kids who there's just nothing left behind. They just put it all out there. And
I love spying on the other teams too, because a lot of times you see prospects from one team that's now on a different team. That's
don't we have Les Perrance now?
We have Les Perrance.
We would always see him at the Prospects Tournament, and we're like,
I'm
still a little.
I might grow to like him, but I don't know if a Griffin's going to look good on him. That's all I'm saying.
Hopefully it just makes it worth it.
Maybe, so, but definitely keep an eye on. Look at all the other rosters too. It'll give you a good idea of what those teams are trying to create as well. It gives you a lot of back end knowledge.
And there's a lot of good teams that are going to be there. So again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Check out our website, accesshockeymi.com, where she does all the writing.
Yep,
and it's all great.
If you hate it, don't tell me.
Well, sometimes I do the writing, but mostly she does the writing. So let us know in the comments what you're thinking and how excited you are for the season and what you're most excited for, and we will see you guys next time.